Here I go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go, here I go.
Before we get into today's episode of the pod, you guys have to subscribe because I'm looking at you and you're not subscribed to the channel yet. And you have to hit the notification bell because you're not going to know when I post if you don't have notifications when I post. Make sure to like the video, you guys, so I know you guys are enjoying these episodes. Make sure to follow my social medias. I will pop them on the screen so you can stay up to date with everything to do with this podcast. And then don't forget to check out the Spotify version. The link will be in the description for that as well. Finally, I am a sports writer, so make sure to check out the take.sport.blog so you can read the best sports articles ever. You will not regret clicking that link, so make sure to click that link below. But let's go ahead and get into today's pod, you guys.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I am your host, Jackson Burleson, of course. And in today's episode, I got a special guest back for the second time, Azyah Brown, Jackson College forward. Thanks for hopping on, dude.
Man, I'm glad to be here, man. I just appreciate another opportunity, talk some hoops with you, I mean, just to,
I want to address the elephant in the room, though. Describe the background that you have to everybody watching.
I mean, it's my my MVP runner up, man, Nikola Jokic. I had to bring out the his 2K16. It was his 2K16 player bill. And nah, bro, it just, I think just looking back over time, it was just funny.
He's got to be like 68 overall in that game, and now he's like possibly going for this third MVP. It's honestly crazy. I can't believe it.
Yeah, dude. I also
is he MVP? Is he MVP this year? Who's your MVP to start?
Oh, mine.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, and it's so biased. It's honestly all biased. I got Joel Embiid.
I would say the same thing, but I think Jokic is just gonna get it just because they have the number one seed in the West, and just because he does so much for that team, like passing the rock and rebounding. I mean, he's a point center. Like, I've said that so many times. Nobody listens to me. They're just like, he's a point center, bro.
His game, and that's the thing. It's like I can never knock Jokic's game as much as it's like a deal of just when it comes down to the game, he plays the game in a way kind of like, when you look at guys like a lot of European players, they're making just the right plays. I mean? It's like their skill, like, like between him and Luka, especially, I see it the most, where it's like they tend to really separate and just be able to like ball out, So that I'll give him that, especially because it was like he was the front runner when he was averaging a triple double still, of course, but he was like at what, 24?
I think he averaged,
and now he's at like 26.
I think he averaged 25 per game this year. But like Embiid is obviously averaging he's averaging 32 points a game. I mean, come on, like you got to give it to him. But like for him, like it's just, I don't know, that Sixers team, man. I can't get on that bandwagon because they got a washed up James Harden, who, by the way, had 8 points last night. Is he okay? Is this the last year for the Sixers to really get it done?
Contention wise, I think as long as you have a player of the caliber of like Embiid, you'll always contend. Like you'll always be able to get to the playoffs. You'll always be able to. It's like those upper echelon guys that just do that for teams. And if you can keep pieces around them, it's like how far you go is always going to be, very dependent upon just your team's ability to put it together at the right times. But it's like for the Sixers, it's odd because it's like Doc Rivers, Doc being a coach. Doc's a winning coach to the degree of the Celtics. And that's really it. And it's like, it's kind of hard to tell, it's hard to gauge like what can be Because it's like on paper, it sounds like we should be the team that's winning. You know what I mean? A lot of the time.
Yeah,
But
because
then
you
it's
guys
like
got
get to the game.
stars. You guys got not just Harden and Embiid, but you got Maxey, you got Tobias Harris. Tobias
Yeah.
Harris, I think, is the guy that is gonna have to play well for you guys to actually make it to the finals. Because
I
everyone
agree.
else can
I
play
definitely.
decent, but he has to be the guy that's got to be able to get you 30, at least 1 or 2 games in a series.
Yeah. And I mean, but here's the thing though, and this is what like kind of it shows a lot within the scape of like the landscape of the league right now. Like Maxi, I mean, just in regards to being that scoring guard, you've seen it a bunch of times. He can fill it up even in the playoffs. He did it a few times against the Raptors. You know what I mean, last year, and it's like kind of knowing that like we got him. You know what I mean, like as a younger player to go, and I think I don't know, bro. It's like it's enough weapons for the team to always be successful, but it's a matter of like you got to have enough production out of like Harden. I mean, I think at this point Embiid's gonna bring it.
Well,
I
he's
ain't gonna
not
lie,
really.
like Harden, but like yeah, like and I mean that's not what the game comes down to. Of course, there's defense and just runs and when the runs are and all of those things, but it's like
Which Harden hasn't really been able to play defense at all in his career. I mean, and now he's just getting older. I mean, but he did have 13 assists last night.
and that's kind of what role he's like began to like flourish in. So it's like him just being a threat will always make a good enough, like he'll always be considered a threat. There's no point, I think, that as long as James Harden is in the NBA, he'll not be considered a threat by the team that's defending him. On the strength of it's like if the guy gets hot, it's like what do you do? It's not, I mean, he's like, so yeah, 8 points is like bad, but it's like, what I mean, the 13 assists just kind of shows more or less like think about what Jason Kidd was to that Mavericks team that beat, the Heat in 2011. And like kind of just understanding that, yeah, Harden's not going to defend as well, but he also kind of gives you a bit more offensively. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like he's not the same Harden, but I don't think he's entirely washed. I just think that Harden's in a space where it's like he's older and it's like his game has changed. But
How
it's like he was
many
just so
how many more
transcendent.
years of prime? Do you think James Harden's even in his prime right now?
Nah, I wouldn't say he's in his prime. I mean, maybe mentally, which is like a really big thing as a basketball player. But it's like, in order to truly be in your prime, I think that's where, like, I would say your IQ and your basketball like ability is like at its most height. Like your physical ability is at its most height, but like in regards to just your ability to go out there and have the ambition to play hard. I think when you
Yeah.
have that match with like your IQ at its best that it'll be at that point, I think that's like, considerably most people's prime.
I mean, it's easy for him to use his IQ now because he doesn't have to
Yeah.
score the ball every single time down the floor. Because like when he was on the Rockets, I mean, it was just pretty much him. And then he had CP3 kind of just there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, CP3 is just I don't think he's ever going to get a ring, bro. And this Suns team is going to choke. I'm telling you guys right now. I said, okay, so last podcast I did a what if the Clippers don't have Paul George. I said if the Clippers don't have Paul George, Clippers are going to lose. But actually, I think Clippers are going to win that series regardless now because Kawhi Leonard is that dude. He is that dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, he's got KD's number. Every time they play, Kawhi always gives it to him. He gives him 30. He plays great defense. And then Paul George comes back. Come on. Like, you got two great two-way players just able to score the basketball and play defense at a high level. I don't see them losing, bro. And they're deep. Like, they got a bunch of other dudes around them. Like, Zubac is a very underrated big man, in my opinion.
Mason Plumlee was showing up too.
Bro, he's just a good role player. Like, he just plays his role. He passes the ball well for a big man.
He was catching lobs and shit though. I'm saying he was really like. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. That's one thing that take you had given. I honestly, I won't even lie. I did disagree. I'm like, bro, fuck no. The Suns are shitting on the Clippers, especially with Kawhi. Like,
But I'm just
still,
seeing
you know, what I
like
mean,
D Book.
he had, yeah,
He just like not
yeah.
dive after a loose ball. I'm just like, bro, do you want to win a championship or not? Like he's just like standing over the ball, like as another guy is literally on his legs trying to get the ball. You know, like what do you just get on the ground? Like if you want to win that bad, like if you want to compare
I got a
yourself to
question for you.
Kobe, which is absolutely insane. If someone compares Devin
That's
Booker
become
to Kobe,
blasphemous.
no, that's crazy, dude. Like that's the most
Become
ridiculous
blasphemous.
thing. You can't compare that.
Stylistically, hey, look, well, look. I'll be honest with you. Stylistically, the comparisons are came about like because of just it's almost a trap, you know. It's like for young players, it's almost a trap. And I had watched a video not too long ago, and it really broke it down. Like I would shout out the dude who made it because it was really in depth because it was just talking about like how Devin Booker kind of fell into this trap that's like it's the Kobe Bryant trap where it's like these younger players and like a lot of guys have their own ways of getting it and it's like it's different for different people of course, but like in their case it's like look at it for what it was, you know. There's these comparisons that's given to a lot of younger guys like early in, and it's like certain ones you do a lot to live up to in regards to like, you know, just your play style, the way you approach the media, the things that they're doing on a regular basis, you know. And it's like when Devin Booker really tried to embrace the like, you know, that whole Kobe moniker like that he had started to receive, that whole like just placement of being like the next Kobe or that whole praise of being the next Kobe, it kind of put a target on his back, you know? And it's like with Devin Booker being a player who can always produce in regards to like scoring, it's not going to give the full picture of what it takes to be like Kobe Bryant in regards to that mindset. Because I think honestly, and especially just with, you know, I mean, with his passing, I think everyone was so much more adept to like want to be like Kobe, you know? And it's like everybody wants to find the next Kobe. Everybody wants to be the next Kobe. But no one really is
No, no one's gonna be
sacrificing and
no.
taking that mindset, you know, that real Mamba mentality that everybody is like, oh, I got that. It's a difference when you're
It's
really
insane.
like obsessed with the sport to the point that, you know, you're leaving from your family to go and just, I want to go hoop. I want to work better. I want to perfect this craft to that degree. And there's guys like in the league who I think do work to that sense. And like, it's like crazy because it's like, even as a player myself, it's like I could say I know that that's something that I can only strive for. It's like to become that obsessed though, where you really are just putting this like your everything into this. It's like that's what I feel. You know what I mean? And there isn't like many guys that's gonna replicate that. You know
Is
what I
there
mean?
like
And that's not to say that they won't be great. They just it's different, man.
is there like a since you like you've been playing the game of basketball for a long time and you've always loved the game, but like has there ever been a point where like you weren't like honed in to like why am I like working out right now or like I'm not really as obsessed with the sport as I would like to be, like because I feel like a lot of players it's hard to stay obsessed with something if they're not truly like enjoying like what they're doing, because I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
bunch of NBA players that really don't like the game. Like you can kind of see like players who have talent and are like really good players, but you can see players like LeBron who put in the work and try to keep their body at like a 20-year-old level. Like it's
Yeah.
very difficult to keep, especially for LeBron, because he's like 20 years in the league. I mean, he's got a lot of miles on those legs. Like how, like just seeing him like being able to keep that body consistent throughout his career and be very durable was super important. And like being durable in the NBA is key. Like there's a lot of guys that continuously get hurt like every single year. But like being obsessed with the sport is hard, I feel like. Like not everyone can do it.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely do. And I mean, like, just in my own personal experience, like, watching basketball had always been something I had loved to do. That's where I like come to understand I love the game. Like as I was younger and stuff, I watched it. I never really had the ability to just get out there and play until I moved to Indiana where basketball was just more accessible. But it was like really coming to as I got older and like seeing guys at different levels, seeing guys who went on to become pros and stuff like that, and playing against guys who are pros in different countries, guys from the league, stuff like that. It's like I've noticed what that obsession really had to be like, in order to truly get there. And it was like,
Yeah.
even for me personally, like when it comes down to working out and stuff, like I like to work out days I don't want to work out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like those are the days that I'm like, if you really care about this shit, if you really love this, you're gonna go and do it. And it's like I'll find myself doing it, more often than not, the days that I don't feel like doing it.
That's where the
There's a
best,
lot of times.
that's where you're at your best, I feel like, is when you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's like going to the gym. Like if you don't want to go to the gym that day, you're gonna leave and you're gonna be like, that was the best workout I've ever had. Like every single time. I feel like.
No, definitely. And it's a matter of because I have the mindset of knowing like what I want to achieve, in the longer run. Like from my basketball career, there's, a matter of, my clock, of course. Like all the players in college, you have your clock and it starts as you step on your first. So it's like for me, it's like I know even within me taking, I won't say I take days off because it's like I'm always feeding my basketball mind. I'm always feeding my, my ability to the game. I'll do something small, but it's like a player who wants it to that degree will always find ways to do that. And they'll always find themselves doing that. Is at least what I feel.
Yeah.
But, there's a different degree that can go into it. And it's like, yeah, of course, some people's resources are better and worse, depending on their situation. Because like for me, the only time I ever find myself not loving basketball the way that I usually do is when like outside things like with my family or something like that may take, some sort of precedent, and not just in regard to like me not, seeing the sport for what it does for me. Like this is my, my outlet, my thing that I go to, but just more or less like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I know I got to do something to take care of my family. I got to be in a position to do stuff like that. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like,
at the end of the day, like every single person like in this entire world, regardless of what they're doing, if they play basketball or if they don't even play a sport, if they're like in a business, like that, just what you're doing as your craft is just such a small percentage of your life in general. Cause you still, everybody still has day-to-day stuff. Like everyone has a routine, like everyone has the same, not the exact same routine, but like similar routines to where you get to like where like office or the gym, like you don't know like what that person did prior to being there. Like you have no idea. Like, yeah, I'm watching right now, like my brother, like he has just become so obsessed with the sport of hockey. And I never thought, like, I've just seen him shooting pucks in the garage with a net. There's no ice in the garage. Like you can't skate in there. So I'm just like, he like really wants it because he's not in a rink.
Find ways. Yeah, you'll find ways, bro. And that's ultimately like, the stuff like that, I think it's just what separates, like, and then who's consistent, you know what I mean? Like over time, there's guys who haven't been that talented that I've seen surpass guys just because of the fact that they put in that work. There's people that I've surpassed. There's people that I'll even tell the truth. They've surpassed me in the sense. And it's made me hungrier though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like having that type of mindset is just it's gonna put you in a situation where it's like you can continue to grow in the sport. And like a lot of guys, I mean, at least from what I hear, it's not a matter of me being there to really say firsthand, but like I know there's a lot of guys that don't put out their all into it. You know what I mean? But it's like they're good enough to
but
get to
they're
where they are.
6'10", 270, they got the physical gifts there.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know, I'm gonna use Rudy Gobert as an example because he just, but oh my God, did you see him hitting threes? Dude, he hit a three like probably like 5 feet behind the arc, game one against the Nuggets. Like, swear to God. And he dunked on Jokic so bad. I was like, oh my God.
Dude, Rudy's
Jeez. Down in the paint, bro. He's kind of unstoppable. He's just
that's
so
the whole
long.
thing about him, bro. That's the whole thing about him. I genuinely think that like he gets a lot of like backlash because of just like his character type stuff. And it's like I've come to find out like over time, bro, the dude isn't like nobody in the league can't hoop. But everybody in the league that can like really hoop, like there's so much more ability to all the players that's in the league. And that's the crazy thing to look at, you know?
Look at guys that are on the bench, like 12th man on the bench. I mean, they were the best player on their college team. They probably averaged like 20, 25 points per game, at least. Even if you're a second
Look at the
rounder.
G League. Look at the guys in the G League, and you'll see some, you know what I mean? Like just absolute dogs, bro. Like, I mean,
There's just so
everywhere.
many players like in the
Yeah, bro.
world in general. Like, it's just the NBA is just such a small percentage of basketball players in the entire world. And that's not even
Yeah.
counting professional. Like, you got to account for like amateur, like high school, like all those guys that are trying to make it to the same level. It's like,
Yeah.
it's hard because there's only 60 draft picks each year in the NBA draft.
Yeah, bro. One that's kind of like one of the cooler parts about their recent like CBA deal, like the updated one that they just recently signed. It'll allow more two-way spots for G League guys onto NBA roster teams.
So how
And then
many
it'll
like
also,
players will be on a roster now?
technically 16, technically, but that's not going to be how many people play, of course. I mean, probably be about 8 or 9, 10 at
So
most.
how many
But
spots are they adding for like the
so
two-way players?
I think they're adding 2 more spots, or they're adding 1 more spot. So it'll be 2 available slots now instead of just 1, or 3 available. I mean, or 2 available instead of just 1 or 3 maybe. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, that's good. I like the G League now because it used to be like, the D League and no one
Yeah,
wanted to play in it. Like, it's
nobody
just like,
cared, bro.
why am
Nobody
I going
cared.
there? Like, I'm gonna play in college for 4 years. Like, there's no point. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just
bro.
gonna be forgotten about. And I feel like that's what everyone's worried about. Like, when you're in the G League, you want to be noticed. Like,
Yeah,
you don't want to just be hooping. You want to be like on an NBA team's radar at all times.
bro. And the thing about it is that there's so many guys at that level that can just go and that like average like crazy numbers, and like they like just drown out like a friend of mine's, like her brother's in the G League and he shoots 40% from three, or like over 40% from three. Like the guy got G League MVP, all types of stuff.
Oh, are you talking
And
about Devin Canada?
yeah, talking about Devin. Devin, you know what I mean? It's like statistically, there's no way that he's not taking an NBA court. You know what I mean? Like if you really look at it for what it is, numbers wise, he was averaging over 20 something points a game, shot over 42% from three. He shoots over like 6 or 7 threes a game. It's like stuff like that. You think about a team who like think about the Lakers a few years ago or last year. Their spacing was their biggest issue. Earlier this year, and
Yeah,
it's
earlier
like,
this year, before they traded for all those dudes, they were trash. Like, the Lakers team that is in place now, so different. Like, when they traded Westbrook and got all those guys cleaned out of house, it's just like they got D'Angelo Russell who can actually shoot. Like, and the fact that they traded him for Lonzo Ball, ooh, man, that is just, ooh,
there
goodness.
was the whole thing about that, bro. And honestly, and this is where I think a lot of that kind of really, unfortunately, has to like be. It comes down to like think back to the whole situation with with Nick Young. and Iggy
What
Azalea.
happened with Nick Young? Oh yeah.
Remember when D'Angelo Russell was recording and all that stuff? I think like
Yeah,
a
I forgot about
combination.
that.
Yeah, I think a combination of just like Lakers fans like not really liking that like at all, and like that all that bad press. Then you got LeVar like sparking Lonzo to be like the greatest thing to come to the Lakers since
Saying he's like better than Curry. Like, I mean,
like
good grief.
just giving him that much. It just seemed too right for the Lakers to not, what I mean, like
Yeah.
go with Lonzo in that situation. And it's like, even looking at it, what I mean, like hindsight, yeah, Lonzo turned out to be a better two-way player, but it's like with the injuries and then them trading him to Chicago and anyway, like,
Yeah.
well, the Pelicans, then to Chicago, it's like him ending up in Chicago. It's like none of it really, what I mean, it never was really.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Who do you think will be a bigger bust? Zion Williamson or Lonzo Ball? Because both of them can't stay healthy to save their life.
They're both really good. That's the unfortunate part. That's like what makes it like
Annoying.
who's the
It's like frustrating.
Yeah. I think honestly though, you still have to say Zion only because of this. Like Lonzo at least has played through what 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
He's played in well.
I don't even know if I could say that though, because most games you could
get hurt.
He played a full season was like he played like 57, 60 games in that range. And he was still hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been having knee problems for forever.
Zion never played in the play.
Zion, did he play in the playoffs? I think
he played in the
2020.
Play-in, I thought. The play-in, when the bubble.
Oh yeah,
he played in the bubble play-in. I think, but he was like super out of shape and stuff.
He's still running up and down the court. Like I don't get how he does. Like, how can you be? It just didn't make sense. Like from a physics standpoint, you're 6'6", 285 pounds, and you're jumping like 50 inches in the air. I mean, I don't get it. Like, like it just doesn't make sense to me.
That's how much sense Zion's bounce makes.
Because like when he was drafted, I was saying that he's one torn ACL away from being just done.
Nah, honestly, bro, his game is so predicated amongst his like athleticism. Like even though he's able to do so much, Zion's the bigger. It would be Zion if it comes down to it. If he doesn't get some way to stay on the court, it'll be Zion. I mean, just because he's so transcendent. Like he was compared to LeBron. Like coming in, like he wore the white suit to the draft. Like, like Zion, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, that'll be tragic. And then
he was the chosen one at that point.
It makes not taking Ja look really bad though.
Man, imagine if the Pelicans
had Ja
with CJ and Brandon Ingram. Oh my,
that'd be crazy.
They would be probably the best team in the West with him there. How about if you trade Zion, put Zion on the Grizzlies, and then put Ja on the Pelicans? Who do you think's the better team?
With a healthy Zion, it depends. Because they would craft their team differently.
That's true. I mean? They probably wouldn't be like using Jaren Jackson as much since he's down low with Zion. Unless Jaren
Jackson would be shooting like 5 threes a game.
Yeah, he spaces out, so that might work. But I don't know, like that'd be a weird fit though, because you would have to have like Tyus Jones at point guard in that situation.
That works.
I think he's solid.
Didn't Trey Jones play with Zion and Duke? Same experience, just got the big bro now.
That's true.
but no, look, honestly, I don't know, bro, because they would probably, because they drafted like No, honestly, I can't think of anybody who the Grizzlies have drafted. Kenny Lofton. They drafted Kenny Lofton. That's like
Probably
they
like
most recent pick
I think
that
it's like
stayed.
Xavier Tillman or they
Xavier
have him. I
Tillman.
think he's actually solid. Whenever he comes in, he always plays well. Every time I
That's
watch
one.
the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies low key got some decent depth too.
So, do you think
But
they will win that series against the Lakers?
I don't know, bro.
I don't think so.
The Lakers are looking good, and
Man,
that's like the one thing you don't want. You don't want a LeBron team to be clicking in the playoffs. You need them to still be like arguing and like them complaining, trying to make trades, even though it's the like midst of the playoffs. You need them to have disarray.
yeah.
If you
And
got
they
a LeBron
Austin
team,
Reeves tossing up behind the back passes.
yeah,
Like,
nah, dude,
man, he turned out to
it's
be a really good
crazy.
player, and I did not expect that. Him coming out of
That's what I'm about to
Oklahoma.
say. Crazy, like how good he ended up being, or that he's being right now. He Rui too. Like the
Bro, the
Lakers
Lakers are
again.
deep, man. They got some dudes. Like,
When they made that trade for Rui early in, I knew that was a really like he's
yeah,
a bit underrated. He's very underrated of a you know what I mean of a player. I think two way. Like his highest player comparison was to Kawhi. Like his best player comparison was to Kawhi, just because of his two-way ability.
yeah.
So it's like
I
if
knew
he
that
gets
was a good
things
trade
going, yeah, nah, if he gets things going, he's another one who can, you know what I mean, produce at a very high level.
because he can kind of help LeBron a little bit because he plays kind of the same role.
He can guard that big, that big wing, but then he can come out and, he can guard on the perimeter and be athletic. And then he can guard inside on bigs as well. Yeah.
Lakers to the Western Conference Finals.
You calling it now?
I've been saying that. I think, and I also think second round. If you watch the Kings last night, they're gonna beat the Warriors 100%. I said everyone called me an idiot in my comment section, and if you guys are calling me idiots, 2-0 Sac is winning the series. So
Look,
that's
you
all I
gotta let
gotta
him know,
say.
bro. You gotta let him know. Look, honestly, and here's the thing: the Warriors are losing via coaching.
Like they had 9
Honestly,
turnovers in the first quarter last night.
didn't
9
they end up with
turnovers.
like 25 turnovers or something at one
Oh,
point?
like it was bad, but like the Kings were turning it over too. Like to be fair, like they were
But
both
here's the
playing
thing:
sloppy.
the Kings are
They're
playing.
good.
Yeah, no, they are. They're playing comfortably though, and that's the thing that Kerr has to adjust to. He has to stop trying to play comfortable warrior ball, and he needs to play comfortable or discomforting warrior ball, where they're focused in on their defense. Wiggins is sitting on the bench for long periods of times, and it's like that was last night was his first night starting, but it was like still there was like a run where like him and GP3 wasn't both playing for like I want to say like 16, 17 minutes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like those
Especially
being your
Gary
two best
Payton.
yeah, those your best two perimeter defenders. You're gonna have to, really have a lot out of them when dealing with guys like Malik Monk and Fox, and De'Aaron Fox at this point in their careers, because they have that Kentucky connection. You know what I mean? Like they have that ability to go out there and they're playing hard. They're playing to win and they're having fun with it. And not to mention, they got Sabonis, they got Keegan. They have a team that's young and able to win. So it's like at this point, it's like the Warriors can't, you know, play down. They have to play up. They can't underestimate them. And that's one thing that we have seen out of the Warriors where they've started out bad to teams. 0-2. We've seen this before. And they've started out 0-2, and then they've come back and win. Warriors in 6. So it's like it's hard to count out Steph Curry, but I'm with you right now. I'm not gonna lie. If they don't make no adjustments as a team, like where they focus in on D, I honestly think they'll be cooked.
The thing is, I
And
think this is the first time they've trailed 0-2 in a series since 2007. And
really,
yeah. And in
Oh,
my
yeah,
opinion,
yeah. 0-2, 0-2, 0-2, 0-2, 0-2.
and
Yeah,
in
you're
my
right. You're
opinion,
definitely
I
right.
think the Warriors will win both games at home, but I don't see them winning at Sacramento because all year long they just haven't been able to win on the road. And for years past, you can't say about Warriors teams that they haven't been able to get it done on the road at least once or twice in a series because
Definitely.
they were the worst road team in the NBA this year. They only won 11 games. That's bad. And if you got Curry and Wiggins, like Klay Thompson, you should not be losing games on the road all the time, at least. I just
Yeah.
I don't see why that's been such an issue for them this year. It's just they're totally different teams. Home and away, they're just so different.
You think, what do you think that it has to do with though? Because
I
it's
don't
like,
I don't know. Like
yeah.
I just in my opinion, I think when they're on the road, I think they play more lackadaisical and they're very
Mm,
sloppy with the ball. And
I got
especially when they don't have the crowd, like, hyping them up, like
that
you don't
12th
see
man.
Jordan Poole like having the same effect as he did last year so far in these first two games.
Yeah.
Because he was that go-to guy if Curry's on the bench. Now, when Curry's on the bench, they are not a good team. They can't really move the ball well. It's not the same.
I agree. And it's weird though, because it's like looking at looking at the Warriors, that's the exact same team.
Yeah, they
We
won
just
last
went to
year.
the finals last year, you know? So it's like, yo, I, I do, bro. I honestly, I just, that's the only thing I can leave it to be. It has to be something to do with them not winning on the road, but I think it has to be that coaching, man. Like I like Steve Kerr as a coach. I really do, but I think he has to make an adjustment. You know, he
What
has to
would they
make an
have to do
in order to.
exactly? What would they have to do? Like it's just defense, in your opinion?
I think outside of their D, I mean, of course, you want to cut down on your own turnovers. Just having games with 20 plus turnovers is like you're not. I don't know at any level you're gonna win a game like that, bro. That's you leaving 40 plus points on the table for the other team to go out and get. Just off of your guys' mistakes, and it's like you want to try your best to capitalize on there. So it's like I think for them, I know it's gonna be just them kind of going on a good run and making they have to find their footing again, which is weird to say because it's like
It's so weird to say. It's like,
they're supposed to be they are always priding themselves. Oh, we've been here, we do this, we the Warriors. So it's like I would want for them to show that, bro. It's like at this
it's
point,
just,
it's
yeah. And it's just like, Sacramento's hungry, man. I mean, they haven't been in the playoffs since 2006. So it's like they
yeah,
want it
yeah.
bad.
And that drive, bro, it does a lot, and that's kind of what I mean. That's kind of why I see this series like it's gonna be interesting if they don't make a change. I mean, if they go down 0-3, then what I mean we can go
Yeah.
ahead and
If they go down 3-0,
we,
it's
we
over.
see we see Sacramento in round two, man. But if they can win one on the road, I mean, if they win this one at home and then win one on the road, I think they'll be fine. It's just they gotta get that one. They have to get that one. If they don't, then I don't know. I think they'll give up as a team. Somebody will give up on the team, and if they do, then that's when it's over. You know what I mean? Because for the most part, I think personally, if your team all believes you still got a chance, I think you still got a chance. But once guys start giving up, links start breaking, then
Yeah.
and that honestly all plays a part, though. I think all the way up until this point, for like early in, while I was saying I don't think the Warriors will go far. That stuff that happened early in with Draymond and Jordan Poole, just
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that type of sabotage within like a unit, just you'll never be able to be the same.
What did
You
you
know what I
think
mean?
of
It's like
what did you think of the ejection from Draymond? He like stepped on Sabonis and like Sabonis was like grabbing his feet. Like, do you think Sabonis should have been ejected, or you think it kind of should have played out the way it did?
I think on either side, I think like in that case, it shouldn't have been it's like when you're getting stomped on, man, you're gonna you're gonna grab the guy. But at the same time, it's like Draymond being Draymond, it's like I know he gets into a lot of situations, like, and I think at this point, it's like even if it's unprompted, it's like he's gonna come out in the same, like he's getting ejected regardless. It's like
Yeah,
there's no playing it no other way. You
because
know
you
what I
don't
mean?
know what
So
he's saying to the refs. Like you have no
yeah,
idea. Because he just
yeah,
runs his mouth all day long to the referees, all game too.
yeah. And
So
it's
they're
like
like tired of
Draymond.
him already.
That's what how a lot of targeting honestly happens. It's like, dude, at this point, he's done. It's like he does it every other game. So even when it's the games where he's like in the right, he's never gonna be in the right because they're already ready to perceive him as being in the wrong. It's like I like to call it you pissed off the ref, so now we not gonna get no calls at my level. That's what it is. So it's like you usually get beat up during games like that. Like you'll get into it with a ref, you know what I mean, say there was a bad call or something, and then it just persists. Because think about it, refs talk, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like they this stuff, they see how he is, and it's like for them, I mean, a lot of the time, I know it's big on not having their own biases. So it's like, okay, I don't have any bias. So I'm in this game trying to call it as best I can. And then this, you know what I mean? He in my ear yelling at me, hell yeah, get his ass out of here. So it's like kind of coming to that standpoint, it's like I understand it for the refs. I understand like, they try and do their best, but it's like as a player, and as a guy like, or for a guy like Draymond specifically, it's like his he has to do it. You know, it goes into him being that heart and soul of the team, him being that player that's willing to take the tech, him being
Yeah.
that guy that's willing to go out there and get dunked on, even though it was a charge and that shit was embarrassing. But it's like he did it. Now we got that. We getting an extra offensive possession. He's that player, and him being that, it's like it's just kind of a part of the game. We've always seen guys like this, guys who kind of just transcend because of their ability to really just be role players who are bigger than the role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Dennis Rodman, you know what I mean? Think about guys like what's his name?
Look
Oh
at
shit, I'm trying to think of his actual name.
look at Rasheed Wallace or
Rasheed Wallace. Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So like guys like that, it's just like their personalities carry them just as much as their games do, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like him being so sporadic and stuff like that. I just think it's like it's almost a part of it. It's like a part of the game. There has to be that guy, you know?
Yeah, there has to be at least one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird because like, you look at Draymond and you look at his numbers, you're like, he ain't that good. But
No. Hell no. You look at Draymond numbers and you be like, bro, like that's why, especially watching Draymond, you come to really see the impact of a player, though.
you
It's like,
appreciate what he does off the stat sheet. Because
yes,
a lot of players don't, what they do on the floor doesn't reflect on the stats at
no,
all.
no, definitely. That's why I had to post my guy Giannis.
Yeah.
Put
The
Giannis up there.
graphics on those games though, back then, like you said, that was NBA Live 14, right?
That's what's 14, bro. That's Giannis.
That's so
Giannis.
bad. That's so bad, man.
Giannis.
Bro, is he gonna be all right? His back injury? I heard he's gonna play in game 2, but I don't know how he's gonna be. Bro, my Heat are not done. My Heat are not done. We're not going down yet.
I look. I knew getting on the pod, I was like, I can't wait to talk Heat because I want you to be able to get your shine on. Nah, dude.
Oh my god.
Look, the Heat.
Tyler Hero broke his
Heat
hand though.
surprised
That's
me.
a little. That made me a little. But I don't know. We look better without him, so I don't know how we're gonna look in game 2. We'll see.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like I like Hero's game. He kind of reminds me of in the sense of like thinking about D Book, where it's like that's that guy who just he's gonna go out there and he can score the ball. He can do that. And like
Yeah.
if he don't do anything else, he'll be able to score the ball. So it's like him kind of being one of those guys. It's like he's a plus minus guy for that for the identity of that team. It's like there's days where his shooting will be a great plus. There's days where his defense is gonna be the greatest minus of all time, and it's like
But I feel
kind
like
of
it's
trying
always
to
like
balance it
that for his
out.
defense. His defense is
Yeah,
always bad. And the thing is for me, like the Heat are such a small team and
yeah.
we should be playing
6'9"
fast.
center.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'9"
Oh,
center.
like we were the slowest team in the NBA in pace this year. Why? How is
That's
that even
actually
possible? But
that's
but it's
crazy.
because Tyler Hero likes to do dribble, step back between the legs, all this stuff. Like when he gets the ball, he slows the game down. And I don't like it. Like when you see Jimmy, he's pushing the ball in transition. Like when Tyler Hero was out for the second half against the Bucks, like you saw Jimmy throwing the ball literally to Bam,
Moving.
full court pass. Like we were not seeing that all year long. That's the way that we need to play if we're going to make it to the finals, because we do have the team to make the finals. Like everybody forgets, we made it to the conference finals. We were so injured last year. We took the Celtics 7 games. We didn't even have Tyler Hero for 3 games out of those 7.
Yeah.
And you're telling me we wouldn't beat the Warriors, at least have a better chance than the Celtics? I think if we match up with the Celtics again, I don't know. I think we give them a run because playoff Jimmy is just different.
Jimmy Butler's he becomes one of those guys that's hard to count out.
He had like 15 points in the first quarter in game 1.
No, I was just gonna say, I think like honestly, with the Celtics, it's just that team has one team that that's one thing that like a lot of teams, but the Heat are another team who does it. They're a defensive identity team. Like there's a lot that their defense does for their offense. It gets their offense going a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because it's like for the Heat, they look to score in transition. And when they do a hell of a job of it. But it's like they got to be playing defense in order to get that open floor. Bam likes to move with the ball and hit guards in transition. They shooting shots. Hits Jimmy, he's finishing. Jimmy hits him, he's finishing. All of those things are like what I think is what these teams are gonna be like they aim for in order to get their offense going. I don't really think the Heat wants to be in a half court set.
No.
Beat you that way, and it's hard to keep it from being that type of game in the playoffs. But even with that said, it's like if they're putting you guys in a some sort of dead spot where you're not able to make much of your offense, and they're able to just get out and run even a little bit, that'll do well for the Heat. It's just with the Celtics, it's like they match up with the Heat perfectly, but then instead of just having one dominant wing, they got 2. So it's like, I don't know. I think the last few times they've played, I know that the Heat does have the Celtics number, even as much as I want to, be Jason Tatum can do anything. I know that. I know that the Heat, especially with Jimmy and them just being the type of players who are going to go after it. You know what I mean? And
It's
that's
just
kind of like
it's just my thing is like I look at teams who are like have great big man and are like bigger, because the Heat, we don't have a good 7-footer. Like I feel like that's our only problem, because last year like we couldn't really rebound well against the Celtics. Like, and they got dudes like Robert Williams who are, man, like you ain't putting up shots against him in the paint like ever.
But it's crazy. He's only like 6'10".
But he's so good. Like it's just, and they got Horford. Like even the Bucks, like the Bucks have Lopez, like Portis. Guys can space the floor, but are very good defenders. And we don't have any guys that big. Period. Like Bam is the biggest guy on the floor. And like when we start our small ball lineup, we got Caleb Martin at power forward who is 6'5".
Yeah.
That's a matchup problem for us a lot. But at the same time, it spaces the floor insanely well. So a lot of teams kind of panic, because that's why a lot of big men have to guard so far out now. Because a lot of teams like to play small sometimes, like Warriors, Heat, like those two teams love to play small.
Yeah.
it works. When it works to a T. But when it doesn't work, it's like what? It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, kind of like a lot of teams are going away from. I mean, that's kind of all goes back into the whole shift of basketball. Like early in, do you remember like when we were younger? Think about like when Curry was first coming along and just the Warriors before the 73-9 season. I mean, yeah, the 73-9 season. Like
Even
before
then,
that.
like you remember Joel Anthony, the starting center
Yeah.
for the Heat when LeBron was there with Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
Bro, Joel Anthony was 6'8".
Really? Dang.
Yeah, he was smaller than LeBron, and he started at
I didn't
center.
know that. But that's how it's like. I don't know. It kind of just plays into that whole because it's weird. Because it's like the modern big man has just been reinvented. You know, it's like bigs were kind of like dying out in regards to the sense of the game. Like it was becoming more perimeter oriented. You know, it's always
Yeah,
been going direction. But then it's like you really look at it now, and then it's like the three consistent MVP runners are all big men.
yeah,
Like, really think about it. The top three
yeah.
spots are always big men. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I think at this point, it's just
What
finding
I can't,
what will work for the Heat.
I can't really
It's like,
remember like when like the center position changed. Like I feel like if I had to say, I feel like it was around when Jahlil Okafor kind of came into the league because he like if you put Jahlil
was really
Okafor in
good.
the league like in the early 2000s, that man is one of the best big men in the league every single year. I
No,
just
definitely. He would have been 20 and 15 all-star.
yeah.
I'm standing at all-star. If he didn't have to develop past the 15-foot jump shot, he would be an all-star right now. I'm not gonna go lie. I stand that, bro. Because like the dude's footwork was crazy. Imagine if he was just posting up. Like, nah, he'd be straight. It is. It's just
Man. He was good in the league for a little bit. Like he won rookie of the year
did he?
on the Sixers, I think. I
He
think he
might
won
have.
rookie of the
But
year when they had Michael Carter Williams and I'm pretty sure he won rookie of the year.
we're gonna
I'm pre-
fact check it out video.
I'm pretty sure he did. But he was like averaging like 20 as a rookie, like right out of Duke. And when he was at Duke, he was probably the best player in the country.
All post buckets.
He like remember when he and Frank Kaminsky were like going like toe to toe in the national championship when like Tyus Jones was on the Duke team. I think it was Justice Winslow. Who else was on that team? Quinn Cook was on that team too. Sam Decker was on Wisconsin with Kaminsky. Who else did they have? Who was that one dude? His name was Nigel Hayes or something like that on Wisconsin.
The guard.
Yeah,
The
he was like
guard?
number 10. Yeah, bro.
He stayed there for like another 3 or 4 years after that, I think.
Where did he go?
think-
I think he got drafted, didn't he?
I don't think he was drafted high. I think he might have been drafted, but I think if he did, it was in the second round. Yeah, but he could play.
Yeah, he was
He
good.
could play. He was, or no, he might have been at the end of the first round.
Bro, what'd you think about March Madness though? Speaking of college. I had to bring it up.
Honestly, the women's tournament, the women's tournament, honestly had my attention more this year. At
Really?
the end, yeah. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like,
That's crazy. That's crazy because
yeah,
the men's bracket was just so insane this year.
it was very much like I feel like it was a lot of stuff I wasn't expecting throughout it. Of course, because it's like it's March. It's always gonna be, you know what I mean? But it was like I don't know. It just felt underwhelming. Like I like UConn. Like I'm happy they won. That's great. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite teams in college basketball. They ruined my bracket a little bit, but you know,
They definitely ruined
it
mine.
happens. It happens. It happens. But it's like, even with that said, I'm not surprised they won or that they did well. But it's like, I don't know. I didn't feel as obligated to be tuned in this
Yeah.
time as much as I did. Like when I even like last year watching Kansas like that, I watched the whole tournament all the way through. Like, like
Yeah.
I was intrigued and it felt like I wanted to, it was different. The girls though this year, I felt like, dang, I'm actually wanting to see if Iowa beats LSU or if Kate and Clark going to talk shit to Angel Reese or who going to say what and what's going, because it's like I
Who
was
is the
genuinely invested.
who is the number one pick from South Carolina? She got drafted to the Fever. I can't remember her name, but
Zia Cook?
yeah, she was on
Zia
South
Cook?
Carolina. She was like the big man.
Oh, no. It was
She was number one, I think.
oh my God, I know her name. It's something. It's like a rep. 1 second. 1 second.
No, I gotta have this one.
Oh, I
Aaliyah Boston.
Aaliyah Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like her game. I think she's a really good player. And for me, like I really didn't watch women's basketball all that much until this year. Because it was on TV and I was like, maybe I'll just watch it. And then I'm just like actually watching it. I'm like, it's weird because when you watch the women's game, it's so different from the men's game. Because I feel like women are they don't rely on their athleticism at all, but they're way more skilled and they're smarter. Like they pass the ball. It's more of a team game. Like in the women's game, there are stars, but like it's not like, you need a star to win. Like you can still win without a superstar. I feel like
no, I think within the women's game, what it is that we like see, and especially now, is like they really kind of have that focus on just what's at hand within the game. You know what I mean? Like it's really like this move to get here, and then like kind of like going through the motion. Now, granted, I'm seeing like more and more girls like playing differently, like more girls dunking and more girls like handling like just more aggressively and stuff because it's gonna happen as time proceeds on. I think it'll continue to kind of grow in that same direction. But it's like I know what plays like for me at least what I think is like one of the biggest parts is just like the way that they're for guys we're able to you kind of have that mindset like, all right, I'm about to go dunk on this dude. I'm about to try and do this, and this. And it's like a lot of it kind of goes back to like highlight culture and like us, as basketball players and as fans, like, people don't watch the game as much anymore. People love to just go turn on the highlights. You know what I mean? They love to just go turn on the clips and see, somebody getting dropped, somebody getting dunked on, somebody getting step back trade face and, the celebrations and all of that. And it's like, yeah, those things are a part of it. They definitely are. But it's like, I've seen that that's become like a big part of the major concern for a lot of people that watch basketball. So it's like with a lot of girls basketball, you may not get to see, it's 60% of it might be, different in regards to it's not going to be the same come down. But there are girls that are doing this stuff. So I can't even say like they don't, but it's like, I think it's as the game is like changing, they're revolutionizing it as we like, right now in front of us. So it's like, this is just something to see and it's amazing.
But if you think about it, like there's a lot of like, when you watch the women's game, like you see the game totally different because it's not flashy like 100% of the time. Like I feel like the men's game, like a lot of levels, like there's a lot of flashiness to it, which is fine. I mean, it's showcasing your skill, but like at the same time, like from a fan's perspective, you just see the flashiness. You don't see like how like that play was truly developed, like how he found that man in the corner. Like you just see the behind the back pass. That's all you see. But in the women's game, like you see it, like the play like actually develop because the men's game is so quick. It's so much harder to understand because a lot of people, I mean, you can talk basketball for hours, like just about the game itself, but I feel like a lot of people don't know how to do that because they don't understand the game. They just see, oh, LeBron James, like all these stars, KD, like there's like, yeah, he's a bucket. Like obviously they're a bucket. Like they all average like over 25 points per game for their career. You know, like it's a given they are a bucket. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just
no
like, I'm just like, if you want to break down their game, that's fair enough. But I don't know. I'm like, I need to speak on KD for a second because KD, I'm low key a hater when it comes to him.
You're a hater.
Okay, so I want to establish Kevin Durant has 0 championship rings, and he is not going to get one this year. He thinks he's going to, but it's not going to happen. He just is hoping to get coasted into the finals and then be like, "Oh, I got 3 rings. I only have 1 less than LeBron." That's not going to happen.
Like, you don't think the ring don't count in Golden State for you?
No. Okay, maybe the first one in 2017 because they had Kyrie. The second one, absolutely not. You got LeBron and J.R. Smith for getting the score. That's who he's playing against.
It was Bron versus the Warriors at the time period.
Bro, like LeBron scored 50 in game 1 of that series. I remember it just like it was yesterday. Like,
yeah.
He had nothing to work with there. He had Kevin Love who shot threes in the corner. Like that's all he had to work with.
And he threw the ball from out of bounds.
Yeah, like was that, do you think 2018 LeBron was the best LeBron we've ever seen?
Yeah. Remember what I said about primes? Like the mind and then the body and all of that being heightened. I feel like his prime just lasted from there, like from 2014 all the way till then.
I think his prime is still going.
Yeah.
I think LeBron is still in his prime.
I feel like, okay, at this point, I don't want to say Bron's athletically regressed, but I just feel like that ability to kind of just be like so freakishly athletic that everything you do is just like, you know what I mean? I don't think he still has that, but it's like, even with that said, he's still like one of the most upper echelon athletes in the league. Like, just saying from himself, you know what I mean? I feel like it might have been a slight regression.
A slight regression for a 37-year-old. We're talking about
like,
not a huge,
and that's saying he's still in the top like 90 percentile of athletes in the league.
Like it's just so crazy because like if you look at his draft in general, like D Wade, Chris Bosh, like he played with those guys and they're all out of the league now.
They're gone, bro. That's what I be thinking about. Even guys younger than Bron are gone.
Like who's like, I'm trying to think of one guy like that's younger than LeBron. That was good, but like he's not there anymore.
Oh, you said that was good. I was about to start naming people, but
I don't know.
Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight Howard. Yeah, he was. Man, when he was on the Magic, oh man, he was probably the best defensive center we've ever seen. Like he just worked everything.
He made the game like at 6'9", 6'10-ish. He made the game look like he was on like a 9-foot basket. Like at all times. Like he used to block shots from like above the back. Like I feel bad for guys like Dwight though, because it's like
he's playing in China now.
Oh, is he not in Taiwan no more?
Wait, I think he's still in Taiwan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
crazy story. One of my teammates, him and Dwight, like they end up meeting at like one of his games in Taiwan.
Oh, word.
University in Taiwan now, and like he's like one of the top players out there. But it's like dude, he was like telling me about him and stuff, and he was like, these cool peoples and stuff like that. But he was like, you really wouldn't understand like how much of this stuff really like goes into the league, like really seeing these guys will still be great basketball players. They're not playing because of just other factors at this point. Certain people who will like be just off the court because of outside things. And then it's like I hear stuff like that, and then I'll go and watch a podcast with Dwight Howard on it. And he talk about like, getting snubbed from the top 75 players list. And then I just go to thinking, and it's like, damn.
Do you really think he's a top 75 player of all time though? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he
Top 75 all time?
Yeah, 75 mate. But Dominique Wilkins got snubbed. Like how?
That's what I'm saying. That's another person who.
And you put
it's
Damian
like-
Lillard on there? Like, bro, no.
It's like
I'm sorry, Damian Lillard's great,
bro.
but
He's a great player, but accomplishments, bro. It's like,
it's like top 75. Come on. Like, what are we talking about?
You skip it. I feel like it's just skipping. Like the fact that a guy like Dwight's not in there just kind of shows. It's like Clay's not in there. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Clay's a tricky one because he was such a good defender. Like when he was at his peak. Like now, he's never gonna get to that level. Now, like he will never be the same. But when he was like, remember Game 6 Clay, like when he was like locking Kyrie up in the finals, like hitting threes like nobody's business, taking 3 dribbles and scoring like 37 and a quarter, like man, he's definitely top 75.
That's what I'm saying. Like you got to really look at the scope of some of the stuff that dudes have done, and then he's an NBA champion. Multiple-time All-Star. Was he on the first defensive team? I don't know. All defensive team player though, like stuff like that gets you in there. 75.
And he's got 3 rings. Or yeah, he's got 3 rings. Or 4 rings. Yeah, he's got 4 rings. Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Top 20 shooting guard of all time, easily.
Yeah, I put 15. Him at top 10. I put him at 10 on mine. 10? Yeah, I put him at 10
without even thinking of another shooting guard. But yeah, yes.
Because you look at like players like Ray Allen or Reggie Miller, like I would put those 2 over Clay. My opinion. Because like if you look at like Ray Allen, like that's like he's one of the most clutch players ever. Like you can't put Clay over him, I feel.
Nah, I mean, what is he? Second all time in threes too? Nah,
yeah, and same with Reggie. Reggie's like 3rd all time.
Reggie's another one who just like career-wise, these guys. Well, while we are already into it, let's get his top 5, top 10 shooting guard list then from you.
Of all time or right now?
All time. Like,
oh man.
Ever.
I mean, shooting guards of all time, MJ 1.
That's Kobe, clear cut.
Kobe 2.
That's yeah.
Kobe 2. Dang, who would I go after?
I got 3 and 4 in mine too.
Oh, man. 3. Number 3 is tough because who do you put below Kobe? That's like tough.
D Wade.
D Wade. Yeah, I would put. I think I would put D Wade up there. God, there's like so many dudes, like so many guys.
AI.
Yeah, AI. But yeah, I don't know. Some people put him in the point guard category, but I don't.
I think because initially they had him listed as the 1. But then he switched to the 2, and then that's when he had like his MVP season and all of that. So I say the 2, just because that was when.
Pull up my list because I made a top 10 shooting guards podcast. Okay, MJ 1, Kobe 2, D Wade 3, James Harden 4, and
I like that
5.
That's my 5. Harden was my 5, but I'll take him at 4 too.
I mean, and from that like. When you look at James Harden when he was on the Rockets, I'm not even talking about now, but bro, like he's averaging 36
point
points a
guard now.
game. Like, but like when he was on the Rockets, I feel like he was still a point guard, even with CP3 there. Like he was still averaging like 9 assists a game, like dishing it out. And he had Azyah,
He was.
PJ Tucker, shooters to kick the ball to. Like you remember when they had Chandler
Yeah.
Parsons?
Chandler Parsons got a bag and then disappeared out the league. I miss him. He was like 6'10", slow, but he had a chopstick. Like, nah, Chandler Parsons' game would have been better if like he would have come and like stayed. Like if he would have been on that Rockets team that was like losing to the Warriors and stuff like that later down the road, he'd have been straight. He would have been helpful. He would have been super helpful because that was like he was an early on defensive, big that could kind of stretch the floor early, like in the 2000s.
He was built more for today's game, not like
Definitely.
early 2010s. He wasn't built for that, I don't think.
Yeah.
But
And then I think in like a car accident or something too, and that kind of played a part.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, there's so many dudes, man. Like,
All right. Yeah.
bro, I don't know that, bro. I feel like I could talk hoops like all day. Like it just don't end, bro. Let me ask you this though before we close it. Who do you have in the finals, and who do you have winning it?
Okay.
Give me your conference finals,
I'm
and
gonna
then
give you my
finals.
All right, bet. I'll give you my ideal finals. Like if I could just, as a fan, get who I want to see in the finals. Of course, I want the Sixers to go. We need to win the finals in 4. I don't care who comes from the West. Let it be the Grizzlies or something. But who I really see going, especially like right now, conference finals. It's looking like I might see Clips and Lakers. Clips and Lakers in the conference finals. The Battle of LA.
Finally.
Coming at it really depends. If Paul George comes back and is playing well, damn, the Lakers are gonna have a hard time. But at the same time, they have the perfect deck to fight against the Clippers. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you can't count on LeBron. You can never count on LeBron. And I think he is playing well. That gives them, a really good spot. But
so you think the Clippers are going to win that series?
it's hard to call it right now. But if those two teams go, I'll go Lakers to the finals.
Man.
Lakers to the finals against the Celtics if Giannis don't get healthy.
Yeah, because I think the Bucks are going to come out of the East with Giannis healthy.
Giannis healthy, the Bucks are always going to be my favorites outside of the Sixers in the East if Giannis is healthy. But without Giannis on the court, without me being biased to the Sixers, I'm going to say the Celtics.
You get because the Sixers to play the Celtics in the second round. So that'll be an interesting series.
Mm-hmm.
I think that goes.
Because we match up with them well. Nah, definitely. I do. And the only reason why is just because their wings is where their main, and our center is our main. But they have, damn, Al Horford be on. I won't say he gives Joel a hard time, but just like really thinking about it, like he don't score as much. He don't score as much against Robert Williams and Al Horford.
That's my concern because last year Embiid couldn't really score against the Heat, and we're a small team in the second round when we played you guys.
Bam. That was bam. And the defenses, and then like one thing I will credit Jimmy on too a lot is he knows how to he's big in defensive schemes. Like whatever he floats a lot. He's a floater. That's the defensive role I see. And it's like he'll pick up ball and pick up whoever the best player is and stuff. But then it's like at the same time, he does a really good job of just, he'll come out of help and just rip you. Like you don't even get a chance to go with the Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just smart in that aspect of the game. He always has been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't really discredit Jimmy at all when it comes to the defense. Man, Clippers in the Lakers, and you got Lakers in the finals. Man, that's crazy to me. I mean, I got the Lakers in the conference finals. I don't know about the finals though. But if LeBron gets there, he got a chance. Get ring number 5. Edge.
Does that put him above Jordan for you or no?
No. If he gets number 6, that's a different story. That'll be tough to talk about. Who's the GOAT if he gets 6? Because then he's just making it undeniable.
Yeah. There's
I don't
nothing
know.
that no one can question.
It's just so hard because if you put Jordan in this era, like it's completely different. But if you put LeBron in Jordan's era, it's like, can you say LeBron does the same? I don't know. The game's more physical. LeBron can't flop. He can't be a little crybaby. And Jordan gets foul called in this era 100% every single time. Like Jordan would own referees in this era. He would literally own a referee.
Definitely. I think LeBron though, he would adapt. I couldn't say he would. Just think about it like this. Karl Malone was like considered to be the strongest guy in the fucking league during the Jordan era. Think about it. All through the 80s, the early 90s. Karl Malone is the strongest person in the league. You know what I mean? People get hit by Karl Malone, that's raps. But then it's like, LeBron's the exact same size as Karl Malone. And then he handles the ball better than fucking John Stockton, you know? So it's like, to put him in that type of scenario, it's like, yeah, they'd be beating his ass. But it's like, I also think about it like this. In the early 2000s, the physicality hadn't truly left the game to the same degree. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think he's played in an era where it was much more physical. And I think it was really evident, you know, of what he was capable of throughout his whole, you know, throughout his like career early in, that he can play, you know what I mean, with guys who came from the 90s, and he can be that guy that's able to really take it and dish it out more than people, you know what I mean, would consider it, you know what I mean, really being the case. And even looking at, you know, Jordan, not to downplay, but just to like kind of go back into him being able to own the refs, he knew how to draw a foul the same way that a lot of guys do now. You know, if you go back and watch some film, it's a lot of times where like there may be some calls where it's like, nah, that's ticky tack. You know what I mean? Even considered today. But then it's like, it's Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get every call regardless. I mean, he's the GOAT, so you can't really say much. But bro, it's been a pleasure having you on, dude. I appreciate you taking the time, bro.
Dude, I appreciate you having me, man. Like, it's always a blast to come on, talk hoops, talk sports in general. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, it means a lot.
I appreciate it, bro. Well, this has been Azyah Brown helping me talk some hoops. Clippers going to the finals, baby. That's all I gotta say. But
Clips in 6.
Clips in 6. But this is gonna go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of Take Podcast. You guys take care.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Red wave paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart up on ice.